This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Retirement isn't just about saving, it's about having a strategy that helps you navigate market ups and downs, combat inflation, and secure the future you deserve. That's why Financially Fit Radio is here to tackle your biggest financial concerns, share actionable strategies, and help you move toward your retirement goals with confidence. And now, here's Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Hello, Columbus. This is Financially Fit Radio. We're building financial strength across Central Ohio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, and every week we share practical strategies to help you protect, grow, and strengthen your financial future. One of the biggest retirement decisions you'll ever make isn't about your investments, your pension, or even your retirement date. It's deciding when to claim Social Security. The difference between claiming at the right time versus the wrong time can add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars over your retirement years. Yet many people make this decision based on myths, emotions, or advice from friends without understanding how it impacts their long-term income. Today, we're going to break down some of the most common Social Security claiming mistakes, explain the factors you should consider before filing, and discuss strategies that can help maximize one of the most important income sources you'll have in retirement. Joining me is my co-host this week and every week, Tony Shore, checking in from Minnesota, where the Honeycrisp apple was developed at the University of Minnesota. So if you ever have bitten into an apple that was actually crisp, juicy, and tasted like it was hard, trying harder than the others, you can thank Minnesota for raising the standards of the fruit world, Tony.
Yeah, and I'm hoping our listeners and viewers, even here in Ohio, have had a chance to have a Honeycrisp apple because they are delicious. Honeycrisp apples are great. They're good for eating and they're good for cooking, but especially if you just like to eat apples, they're really good for just, you like to slice up an apple and have a couple of slices. That's what they're great for. And you know what? A Honeycrisp tastes great. You slice it up, you put a little peanut butter on that.
Oh, yeah. Slice. That's what I was actually getting ready to say. Like a little peanut butter on an apple.
So good. So good. Yeah. Well, hey, Cory, how have you been?
I've been good, Tony.
Good.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the middle of summer here. So, people are starting to take vacations. I think a lot of people are starting to think about, am I going to retire next year too? This is a good time for them to start being able to think about that. And I think today's topic is going to be, something that they should think about, obviously, when you want to retire.
Well, it is something. I mean, obviously, this is a big one. I know this is a question you get asked a lot. You see so many takes on this online, like, you got to file at 62. You got to wait till 70. And I've seen headlines out there all the time, articles that say why you have to file at 62. And they give a few reasons, or why you need to wait till full retirement age. And I always laugh at those articles because I know, and you're going to talk about this, everybody's situation is different, right?
Everyone's situation is different. Whether you might be single, you might be married, you might actually be a widow or a widower, you might be divorced. So there's there's really all kinds of options for you to be able to truly think about before you file for Social Security. I think everyone knows this, Tony. The earliest date that you can file is the age 62. But they probably don't realize it's actually 62 in 1 month. But that's the earliest that you can actually file. Most people if you're a baby boomer, you're probably 66 in some certain month. If you're born after 1960, then it's going to be your full retirement age is going to be 67. And of course, the maximum that you can allow that thing to grow is at the age of 70. And obviously, what you really need to think about is, when should I actually, take my Social Security, right? And here's what I don't think a lot of people understand, and we'll just kind of discuss this. We'll give you a quick example for a lot of our listeners as well as our viewers out there. And basically, let's just say you have a $2,000 monthly benefit at your full retirement age, and your full retirement age is 67. So basically, if you claim at 62, you're going to receive about $1,400. Obviously, at 67, you're going to get $2,000. And if you wait to 70, it's going to grow up to, $2,480. right? So obviously, if you claim at 62, you're going to start receiving those checks for 5 years, right? However, what you need to understand is you're actually permanently reducing your Social Security by 30% from your full retirement age, right? And every
Yep.
future cost of living adjustments you do receive is going to be based upon that smaller amount. Now, obviously, if you wait until 67, you're going to be able to receive your full benefit. There's no reduction. And then it's going to provide more monthly income. So it's going to be a stronger income base that you're going to be able to receive in retirement. And if you wait till 70, now you've received an additional 8% growth over those last 3 years. And you're going to receive approximately, about a little over $1,000 more per month than if you claimed at age 62. And I think that's the thing that I think a lot of people need to realize. I know what's everyone always say, Tony? Well, I want to make sure I get my money back.
Yep.
I put all this money into it. I just want to make sure I get my money back.
I don't want to lose it. I don't want to have it put away and then just disappear. I want to be able to get it back.
Right. Everyone's, I want to take it out. I'm like, they want to take it because they don't want to lose it. But
Yep.
but here's the one thing I will tell you. When we actually go in and do analysis of Social Security, whether you take it at 62 or 67 or 70, everyone always talks about the break even. I want to make sure I get my money back. But the break even point for all of that's usually around 79. So all that means is if you take it at 62 versus 70, if you wake up at age 80, then you chose wrong if you did not choose 70, right? That's really what I'm talking about is on a break even point. And I don't think a lot of people also consider, Tony, the impact that you could have if you're married. You're not that means if something happens to you, your spouse receives the highest Social Security check from that point forward, right? It's either yours or hers. I'm assuming, it's a male that takes it earlier, but it's his or yours on whatever that spouse receives. So if you take it earlier, now there's a good chance that she's going to receive a less dollar amount, which means now she's going to be receiving less money in income because now you went from two Social Security checks to one Social Security check in retirement.
Yeah. And that's not good. I think a lot of people maybe also think, hey, my neighbor told me or my buddy at work told me I have to file at 62 to get more checks. I'm going to get more checks that way. That way I can make sure I get the money I put in back out or what's owed to me. And that is not always the case. You might be in a situation where you need to take it early, but you're taking it at a greatly reduced rate if you do that, right?
You exactly are. You're going to receive a reduced rate, and it's going to be for your lifetime.
Yeah,
And if
you
you're
lock
married,
in.
if you're married, I mean, the chances of one of you making it to 90 anymore are good. Everyone's
Yeah.
living longer,
Yeah.
right? So what are some of the most common claiming mistakes that I hear when people come in and sit with me or I talk to clients or prospects? One is some of them just want to claim it because they just turned 62 and they just want to take it. Now, obviously, if you take it at 62 and you retire at 62, the other issue you potentially have, Tony, is Medicare.
Ah,
Now you have to wait 3 years and before you can actually receive health insurance. So that's something to be able to think about. But I think the one I hear more than anything else is people are filing because of the fear that Social Security is going to run out. Hear that constantly, right? And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But that's if Congress doesn't do anything. We're looking at 2032, 2033. Then you might receive about a 25% reduction of your Social Security benefit. It's not going to run out. It could be actually reduced. We'll talk about that. I think another reason why is I think a lot of people ignore their life expectancy and their family longevity. I have clients coming in here and say they want to take it at 60 or, clients or prospects saying, I want to take it at 62 and, their parents are in their 90s. Well, I mean, you have a family history of living long. So that's something to really think about. And here's another big one I don't think a lot of people do is they don't coordinate it with thinking about their spouse. Anytime I talk to someone about Social Security, it's always about them. And you really have to think about your spouse if something happens to you.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think most people overlook that.
Yep.
They operate in a silo, or they're like, "This is my Social Security, my wife has theirs, it's separate." But it really isn't when you're married or have a spouse, is it?
That's exactly right. Nope. You have to think about your spouse.
Yeah.
And and the other part is I don't think a lot of people think about taxes. Yes, Social
Right.
Security is taxed. There are so many people that don't realize that it is taxed. It can be taxed. So you need to think about taxes before you also apply, right? And I think the last one is this is a big one if you take it early, is there's earning limits on what you can make per year, or you'll receive a reduced Social Security. Now, once you reach your full retirement age, you can make as much as you want, right?
Right.
There's no earnings test. But before your full retirement age, if you make a certain amount of money, you could lose part of that monthly Social Security check.
Yeah. So if you take it at 62 and continue to work, what you're saying is they're going to, for every $2 you earn, they take a dollar, or $3 you earn. It's something like that,
It's
correct?
$2 for every $2 you earn, they take away a dollar, up to like $25,000. And it's 3 to $1 if you're in 1 year before your full retirement, up to around $55,000.
So it could be a big mistake. And why would you then take it early before your
Yep.
full retirement age if you're planning to work until you're 67 or 70? And I have an exact example of that. One of my best friends and neighbors did that. He had a pretty high paying job, and I know the earnings test is really low, right?
Like $25,000.
$25,000 right in that neighborhood. So if you earn more than that a year, and you've filed for Social Security, if you're under your full retirement age, you're going to be, they're going to take some of that back. They're going to withhold. You're not going to get the amount you would have. And he made enough where he probably wouldn't get a thing.
That's
To be
exactly right.
honest, he wasn't getting a thing, but he filed at 62 because somebody told him he thought he would get more checks. Nobody explained this to him, and he kept working until he was 70. Can you imagine had he let it roll roll
Yeah,
up? I mean,
yeah.
and he's still alive. I mean, he's a goer. I think he could have, he probably would have been one. A lot of people shouldn't probably wait till 70 because you have to live to a certain age to reach the break even point or make that valuable. But, no one knows when they're going to pass. But at the same time, if you lock in a lower amount, you might be hurting your spouse. If you pass, you might be, if you keep working or earn more than $25,000 a year, which nowadays, even a part-time job, you could easily earn more than that. So,
Right. I mean, your grandfather lived over 100,
yeah, 101.
right? My
Yeah.
grandmother lived up to 89.
Yeah, I think
So
my grandfather took Social Security at 66. I think his full retirement age. It was 65 or 66. So, and he lived to 101. So they lost money on him, and he definitely made money on
that's
that
that's
deal.
correct. Right. And, I think some of the factors that you really need to think about before you claim, Tony, is, yeah, you need to look at your health and your family history, just like we're talking about now.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, retirement income needs. Sometimes it's more important to get $300 or $400 more a month from Social Security as well. You also talked about employment, right? How long are you really going to work? It doesn't make sense most cases if you're working to take Social Security. You have to think about taxes. If you're working and taking Social Security, more of it's going to be taxed, right? And I think it's so important to probably work with an advisor like us. One of the things we do is we run a Social Security maximization report for our clients so they can actually see what they potentially could be giving up. The nice part about it is our report shows them what the optimized time frame is. It could be 70 for one spouse and 65 for the other, whatever that might end up being. But then you can actually put in custom dates in there or custom ages. It'll show you potentially if you're lived to your life expectancy or whatever age you want to throw in there on how much money you could possibly leave it on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's interesting. You do have to take into all those considerations. I mean, take into consideration everything, tax implications, lifestyle, spending goals. Everybody has different goals in retirement. How are you going to achieve those? Where are you taking money from? And that's why maximizing, you've talked a lot on past shows about maximizing your Social Security, and there are ways to do that, and everybody's different. Some people, the best thing to do is going to be file at 62. A lot of people, it's going to be wait till your full retirement age. Maybe it might even be wait till you're 70 if there's a lot of longevity in your family and you have other sources of income, or you want it, your spouse has a lower amount and you want to let yours roll up so she'll have a much higher amount if you should pass because she
Right.
gets the higher of the two. That's a good reason right there.
Right. That's exactly right. So, anyway, I think
Yep.
it's time for
That means it's time for your financial workout of the week on Financial Fit Radio. This is one simple action you can take this week to strengthen your financial fitness.
Well, this is something I'm going to tell everyone to be able to do. It's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes, but I want you to go out to ssa.gov. That's ssa.gov. And I want you to create your own Social Security account if you have not done that. The other part I want you to do is I want you to review what your estimated benefits are. First of all, you should go out there. There's a section in there where you can view all your earnings. You want to make sure it's accurate. If something is inaccurate, you have 3 years to correct it. So it's important that your earnings is correct right there. You should be able to go out there and review your projected benefits at 62, your full retirement age, and 70. If you're over the age of 62, then it's going to show you the year if you take it now, your full retirement and at age 70 as well. Right? I think that's something that everyone should be able to do. And then really what I think that the next thing you want to be able to figure out is how does that fit into your income plan? And that's where we really can come in and help you. We can build a compass report, show you what, we can obviously do the Social Security maximization for you, lay that into what we call our compass report, which is an income report in retirement. It's a great way to be able to do that, but we can't do that unless we know what your numbers are. And I'm surprised, Tony, on how many people try to log into Social Security and they have issues. Because one of the things that always asks you is your mother's maiden name, right?
Right.
You'd be surprised on how many times that's misprinted or actually on the system different than I'm talking about from a spelling standpoint.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, I've had a lot of clients that all of a sudden are trying to file for Social Security and they can't because now they got this issue and they got to deal with Social Security. So do that right now. Set it up, ssa.gov, create your username and password and find out what your benefit amounts are.
Yeah. Well, and I want to reiterate that website. So you go to the official one, ssa.gov is ssa.gov.
Yes.
Gov is GOV, short for government, of course. That's the government official site, ssa.gov. I think that's great. And now it's time.
What are you waiting for?
What are we waiting for?
It's time for Myth versus Muscle of the Week on Financially Fit Radio. In this corner, a common financial myth that could knock out your retirement plans. And in the other corner, the muscle, the financial truth that helps make your finances stronger.
Well, this is the number one myth that when someone comes in and sits down with me, this is usually what they say, Tony. I should claim Social Security as soon as possible because the system's going broke.
Wow.
Right?
Here's another truth. Social Security is dying.
Yep. You hear that all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
I hear this all the time, right? Obviously, many people fear that Social Security is not going to be there for them. As I said earlier, it could be in a reduced benefit, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this is created by news. Headlines create panic. And here's another one, right? This is where everyone gets their advice from on Social Security. That's friends and coworkers who they get their advice from.
Yeah, like
Right.
my neighbor. One of his best friends, he knew this guy was super smart. Oh, he's a judge, or I forget what he was, but he was a sharp guy that he got the advice from. And he didn't realize, oh, I'm going to work full time and I'm making over 6 figures a year. Well, you're not going to get your benefit.
Right.
And you've locked in a lower amount, right?
And, the one thing to remember, fear, a lot of times, Tony, when people make decisions based off of fear, they usually make the wrong choice, right? And in this case, you get one chance at Social Security. Make sure you're claiming it when you really need to claim it. Don't let fear make that decision for you, because when you do that, then it's going to reduce your lifetime benefits for the rest of your life.
There you go. And I think that's great. So that's the myth. What's the muscle?
Well, let's talk about the muscle, right? Under current projections, benefits are expected to continue. Congress historically has acted to address future funding issues of Social Security. So we have a little bit of time to do that. A lot of them don't want to. I mean, the last thing they want to do is try to run for office and everyone that's receiving Social Security is now receiving 25% less.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to let that happen.
You're going to be out of a job, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the other part of it is you always remember this: when you claim, that locks in whatever permanent possible reduction or dollar amount that you're actually signing up for. So claiming your decision should be based on your personal retirement plan, not headlines. Everyone's situation is different. That's why it's so important to work with an advisor. We actually put together your retirement roadmap in our Compass report to show you what your income stream is going to look like. Social Security is really the foundation of your retirement plan. You need to make sure that you're doing it the right way. And we don't know this. I mean, if everyone knew when they were going to pass away, then it'd make it a lot easier. But you have to plan as if you're going to be you're going to have a long retirement.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously we're going to look at your longevity on that as well. I mean, income needs, taxes, spousal benefits, all that's important before you decide. So before you actually sign for Social Security, I highly recommend that, give us a call. We'll sit down, run the report for you, just so you can make an educated decision before you file for your Social Security benefits.
Huge.
All right, let's take a moment to cool down. This is where we wrap up today's show with one final thought to help strengthen your financial future.
Social Security is one of the few sources of guaranteed lifetime income available to retirees. That's why the decision of when to claim deserves careful planning rather than a quick decision based on age alone. Taking the time to understand your options today could have a significant impact on your retirement income for decades to come. Now, if you found today helpful, be sure to subscribe to Financially Fit Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts so you don't miss any future episodes. You can also watch full episodes on our YouTube channel, Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, under the Financially Fit Radio playlist. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future insights. And don't forget to check out all of our Financially Fit shorts. We're putting it out on YouTube and social media. They're quick, bite-sized clips packed with practical tips and also highlights from each episode of Financially Fit Radio. It's a great way to stay informed and financially fit, even when you're short on time. Now, if you would like building a retirement plan that fits your goals, we offer a complimentary retirement strategy session. You can schedule that by visiting safeharboroh.com or give us a call at 614-760-0670. Again, that's safeharboroh.com, and it's 614-760-0670. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep building that financial muscle.
All right. Great show today, Cory. That does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group.
Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.